The moment we heard the words, "There are two babies," time seemed to stop. For a few seconds, excitement and disbelief collided in a way we had never experienced before. We had spent weeks imagining our future as parents of one child, carefully building dreams, plans, and expectations around that image. Then, in a single appointment, everything changed. Suddenly, every conversation carried new weight, every decision felt bigger, and every fear seemed twice as powerful. Could we handle the emotional pressure? Would our finances survive such a dramatic shift? Most importantly, what would happen to our relationship as we prepared to welcome not one but two lives into the world? The journey ahead was far more complex than we imagined, but it also revealed strengths we never knew we possessed. Discovering that you are expecting twins is one of the most life-changing moments a couple can experience. Along with overwhelming joy comes uncertainty, responsibility, and the realization that the future you imagined has suddenly transformed into something entirely different. Many couples find themselves navigating a whirlwind of emotions while trying to maintain a healthy and supportive relationship. The news affects not only practical aspects such as finances and daily routines, but also emotional connections, communication, and long-term goals. In this video, we will explore how learning that there were two babies changed our relationship, the challenges we faced, the fears we had to overcome, and the lessons that ultimately brought us closer together. If you enjoy meaningful family-centered content, make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share your thoughts in the comments below. The day we learned we were expecting twins marked the beginning of a completely new chapter in our lives. Before that appointment, we had carefully imagined what parenthood would look like. We talked about nursery decorations, feeding schedules, future family vacations, and all the small moments we expected to share with one child. The announcement instantly reshaped every plan we had created. Excitement filled the room, but so did uncertainty. While we smiled and celebrated, countless questions quietly formed in our minds. We began wondering whether we were truly prepared for the responsibility ahead. It was not simply the idea of raising two children at the same time that felt overwhelming. It was the realization that our relationship would be tested in ways we had never anticipated. In that moment, we understood that becoming parents of twins was not only about welcoming two babies but also about redefining our partnership for the future. As the initial excitement settled, fear gradually entered the picture. We started examining every aspect of our lives through a different lens. Financial concerns appeared almost immediately because every calculation seemed to double overnight. Diapers, clothing, medical expenses, childcare, and future educational costs suddenly felt much larger than anything we had originally budgeted for. We found ourselves discussing money more frequently than ever before. At times, those conversations created tension because each of us processed uncertainty differently. One focused on creating detailed plans and budgets, while the other sought reassurance and emotional support. This difference initially led to misunderstandings, but it also revealed something important. We realized that financial preparation was not just about numbers. It required trust, patience, and the ability to listen without judgment. The challenge forced us to become a stronger team, learning that practical solutions are often built upon emotional understanding and mutual respect. Beyond finances, the emotional impact of expecting twins brought unexpected changes to our daily lives. Every conversation seemed to revolve around the babies, and slowly we noticed how easy it was to lose sight of ourselves as a couple. We spent hours researching twin pregnancies, reading parenting advice, and preparing for scenarios we had never considered before. While these activities were necessary, they also created a subtle distance between us. We were so focused on becoming parents that we occasionally forgot to nurture the relationship that existed before the pregnancy. Recognizing this pattern became one of the most important turning points in our journey. We intentionally began setting aside time to reconnect, even if it was only through simple walks, shared meals, or quiet moments at the end of the day. Those small efforts reminded us that a healthy partnership would become the foundation supporting our growing family in the months and years ahead. Another significant challenge involved managing expectations. Before learning about the twins, we each carried personal visions of what parenthood would look like. Some of those expectations were realistic, while others were shaped by social media, family stories, or idealized images of family life. The reality of preparing for two babies forced us to confront those assumptions. We quickly understood that perfection would not be possible. There would be sleepless nights, moments of exhaustion, unexpected setbacks, and periods when things felt completely out of control. Accepting this reality was surprisingly liberating. Instead of chasing impossible standards, we began focusing on adaptability and resilience. We learned that success as parents would not be measured by flawless execution but by our willingness to support one another through challenges. This shift in perspective reduced pressure and allowed us to approach the future with greater confidence and emotional balance. Communication became the most valuable tool in strengthening our relationship throughout the pregnancy. As responsibilities increased and emotions intensified, honest conversations became essential. We discovered that assumptions often created unnecessary conflict, while openness created understanding. Sharing fears no longer felt like a sign of weakness. It became an act of trust. We talked about our worries regarding sleep deprivation, career adjustments, changing family dynamics, and the possibility of feeling overwhelmed. Rather than allowing those fears to grow in silence, we faced them together. Over time, these discussions deepened our connection. They reminded us that neither of us needed to carry the burden alone. The journey toward parenthood was becoming a shared mission rather than an individual struggle. Although uncertainty remained, communication transformed it into something manageable. Every conversation reinforced the belief that facing challenges together would always be easier than facing them apart. One of the most surprising lessons we learned was how important flexibility would become in our relationship. Before the pregnancy, many aspects of our lives followed predictable routines. We had schedules, personal goals, and habits that gave us a sense of control. Expecting twins challenged that structure in ways we never imagined. Medical appointments became more frequent, plans often changed unexpectedly, and our energy levels fluctuated from week to week. At first, these disruptions created frustration because we were trying to maintain the same pace we had before. Eventually, we realized that adaptability was not a weakness but a strength. The more willing we were to adjust our expectations, the less stress we experienced. We stopped focusing on maintaining perfect routines and began concentrating on what truly mattered. This mindset shift helped us navigate uncertainty with greater confidence and reminded us that successful partnerships are built on cooperation rather than rigid control. The support of family and friends also became a topic that transformed our relationship. Before learning about the twins, we imagined handling most responsibilities independently. However, the reality of preparing for two babies encouraged us to reconsider our perspective on asking for help. At first, accepting assistance felt uncomfortable because we wanted to prove that we could manage everything on our own. Over time, we recognized that strength does not come from carrying every burden alone. It comes from understanding when support is needed and being willing to receive it. As we opened ourselves to the help of loved ones, we experienced a sense of relief that benefited both of us. The process also taught us to work together more effectively. Instead of viewing support as a sign of inadequacy, we began seeing it as an opportunity to build a stronger network around our family, creating stability for the journey ahead. As the months passed, we became increasingly aware of how much our individual identities were evolving. Parenthood was approaching rapidly, and with it came questions about careers, personal ambitions, and future priorities. These conversations were not always easy because they required honesty about our hopes and concerns. We each wondered how our lives would change after the twins arrived and whether we would still have space for personal growth alongside family responsibilities. Rather than avoiding these topics, we chose to address them directly. We discussed long-term goals, explored practical solutions, and acknowledged that some sacrifices would be necessary. What emerged from those conversations was a deeper understanding of each other's dreams and values. We realized that supporting one another's personal development would remain essential even after becoming parents. This awareness strengthened our partnership because it reinforced the idea that we were not losing ourselves. We were growing together into new versions of ourselves. Preparing for twins also revealed the incredible power of shared purpose. Throughout our relationship, we had faced challenges before, but this experience felt unique because it connected every aspect of our lives. Every decision, from budgeting and healthcare planning to organizing our home, became part of a larger mission. We were no longer making choices solely for ourselves. We were preparing to welcome two completely dependent human beings into the world. This responsibility created moments of pressure, but it also generated a profound sense of unity. Even during difficult days, we found motivation in the knowledge that we were working toward the same goal. Small accomplishments felt meaningful because they represented progress toward building a safe and loving environment for our children. The shared purpose strengthened our emotional bond and reminded us that teamwork is often the most powerful force in overcoming uncertainty and adversity. Looking back, the news that there were two babies changed far more than our future plans. It transformed the way we communicated, supported one another, managed stress, and approached life's challenges. The fears we experienced were real, and the adjustments required were significant. Yet those very challenges became opportunities for growth. We learned that love is not simply measured by moments of happiness but by the willingness to remain connected through uncertainty. The journey taught us patience, resilience, empathy, and trust. It showed us that relationships become stronger when both people commit to facing difficulties together rather than allowing those difficulties to drive them apart. By the time we were ready to welcome our twins into the world, we had already undergone a transformation ourselves. We had become more united, more understanding, and more prepared to embrace the beautiful unpredictability of family life that awaited us. Finding out that there were two babies instead of one changed our relationship in ways we never expected. What initially felt overwhelming gradually became an opportunity to grow closer, communicate more openly, and discover strengths we did not know we possessed. The fears, financial concerns, and emotional adjustments were real, but so were the moments of connection, teamwork, and personal growth. Parenthood begins long before a child is born, and in our case, it began with learning how to face uncertainty together. The greatest lesson was that challenges do not have to weaken a relationship. They can strengthen it when approached with patience, understanding, and mutual support. Sometimes life surprises us with more than we planned for, but those unexpected moments often become the very experiences that shape us into stronger partners and a stronger family.